Hello there, everybody. This is Chunkashtaria, and that took me very bit not long, but not really. So, welcome to the fifth episode of the crossover battles. So this time around, we're not doing any fictional characters to fight for another, but we are about to something else from our country, which used to be from entire nations between Afghanistan and Vietnam. So let's take it around from the battlefield, and starting in from the 1984 political nation is actually in the 1996-2001. The Taliban versus from 1916 to 1975 is Viet Cong. So let's take a look. Is Taliban officially emerged in 1994? Its actually country name is actually Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. It's a Deobandi Pashtun Islamic Federalist Militarist Islamist and Jihadist political movement as one of the prominent factions in Afghan civil war and largely considered the students Talib and Pashtun areas of the eastern and southern Afghanistan who had been educated in traditional Islamic schools under the leadership of Muhammad Omar. The movement spread throughout the most of Afghanistan, shifting power away from the Mujahideen warlords. In 1996, the group administrated roughly three-quarters of the country and established the first Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan until 2001. With the capital transferred to Kandahar from Kabul, the Taliban's government was opposed by the Northern Alliance militia, which seized the parts of northeast Afghanistan and largely maintained to international recognition as a continuation interim of Islamic State of Afghanistan. The Taliban held control most of the country until being overthrown after America's quickest invasion of Afghanistan from early 2001. And 20 years after that, which already Taliban brings its successive offensive, the Kabul is already fallen, which that already turns to another country for ideas. From early modern day, that Taliban has already seized the power and established a government backed by some of the world's best equipped militaries, as in analytical insurgent movement deactivated, bringing about the truly Islamic State. Its victory has been compared to that of Chinese Communist Revolution in 1940s or Iranian Revolution of 1979. With their sweeping remake of society. However, as of 2021 to 2022, the senior Taliban leaders have been emphasized the softness of their revolution and how they desired the good relations with the United States in discussions with the American journalist John Lee Anderson. Anderson notes that Taliban's war against the graven images Soviet gorgeous in their real had been abandoned, perhaps made impossible by smartphones, Instagram. In one of the local observer has argued the Taliban have not killed a lot of people after returning to power. Women are seen out of the street. Zabihullah Mujahid, acting deputy minister of information and culture, noted there are still women working in numbers government ministries and claimed that the girls will be allowed to attend secondary education when bank foods are unfrozen and the government can be funded to separate spaces and transport for them. Viet Cong officially founded in 1960s, and this is known as actually National Liberation Front of South Vietnam. That became an armed communist political revolutionary organization in South Vietnam and Cambodia. Its military force of Liberation Army of South Vietnam, or LSCV, fought under direction of the North Vietnam against the South Vietnamese and United States governments during the Vietnam War, eventually emerging on the winning side of the LASV as both guerrilla and regular army units, as well as a network cadres who organized peasants the territory the Viet Cong controlled during the war. The communist fighters and anti-war activists claimed that the Viet Cong insurgency indigenous to the South, while the United States and South Vietnamese governments betrayed the group atoll of the North Vietnam before establishing National Liberation Front from 20th December 1960 at the Tan Lep village in Tay Ninh province to foment insurgency in the South. Many of the Viet Cong's core members were volunteer groupies, Southern Viet Minh, who has resettled in the North. after Geneva Conference occurred in 1954, Hanoi gave recruits from the military training and sent them back to the south along with Ho Chi Minh Trail in the early 1960s. The Viet Cong called for South Vietnamese to overthrow the camouflage colonial regime of the American imperialists and make two efforts toward the peaceful unification. The LSV, best known for this action, the Tet Offensive, and an enormous assault on the more than 100 South Vietnamese urban centers in 1968, including the attack U.S. Embassy in Saigon. The offensive riveted the attention of the world's media for weeks, but also overextended the Viet Cong. Later communist offensives were conducted predominantly, and organization officially merged with the Fatherland Front of Vietnam on February 4, 1977, as North and South Vietnam officially unified under the communist government. And so the battle was about to start between, for another half, and the urban warfare winners will be Taliban. Much as the Taliban's very dangerous suspected nations as opposed, there are much the Taliban soldiers who became expectant terrorists, such as the Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden, who has responsibilities over the terrorist attack on 11th of September 2001 over his 20 years. Before that gives no attention. But comparisons over the war in Afghanistan would mark its 20 years between Afghanistan and Vietnam, between the fall of Saigon and Vietnam in 1975, where South Vietnam is collapsed. But the both were now refuging for a little bit. Entire South Vietnamese civilians were there joining immigration against the communism government control over the Vietnam. And sometimes the Vietnamese Americans also helped the African refugees to protest against the Taliban, and this gives the end of time before fall of Kabul and dissolution of Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, and sometimes that ever did towards another nations, and that would no longer become as one flag of tricolor between black, red, green, and its coat of arms became white. And sometimes they were most powerful than the Viet Congs, but they already destroyed the U.S. Embassy in Saigon, and that ever did to close up. And this ever did marking the end of the wars, which due to assassination of John F. Kennedy that did not responsibilities to another, and Saigon became the early city of Ho Chi Minh City before. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy for the next video. Please subscribe, and I hope you enjoy for the next of the crossover battles. We'll see you next time, and I hope you wanted more for any episodes that you ever want me for doing more. So keep it up, guys. Subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to click the bell notification on. And I'll join more for next videos, and 6th episode will come out on 3 days.